Blessings, and grand rises. I'm sorry for my delay. I want to say welcome to Primetime Home Buyers daughter page, which is Secure Your Energy, where every Wednesday we host economic development seminars live here in the Fulton County Library here at the Adams Street branch. Okay, so if you don't know what we do, please go back and look at some of our videos where we have been disclosing the keys you need to economic success, going over the concepts of economic development and bridging those with business-minded entities, how to incorporate economic development in the community as a leader and kind of incorporate these concepts with actionable, guided key theories into your particular sector. So, if you haven't seen that, please go down. We're going to be upgrading the page. We're going to be renaming some videos so you guys can get an idea of what particular videos are which. So look at that. Look up for that in the next couple of days. But right now, we're at our alternative real estate investment seminars for business owners. Okay, so we talked about the importance of having assets as a business owner, no matter what business you are in, because if you want to secure a loan, this will make you more marketable. This will make you more, how can I say, look beautiful on paper, as well as be prepared within your business if you come across hard times to actually have some type of fallback, okay? So, as we know, or if you don't know, real estate and gold is God's wealth, and that's what I definitely want to share with you. Real estate and gold is God's wealth, all right? So with that being said, we're going to get into some key concepts related to this week's topics, navigating foreclosures, okay? It's a jungle. So last week we kind of talked about a little bit about tax liens, a little bit about deeds, just a little bit just to get you into the mode of what you need to do. And what we were highlighting is basically you have to do your due diligence. There's no way around it. Even in whatever business you're in, when we say do your due diligence there, we want you to do your due diligence here, because this is going to be an asset that lasts for life. Does that make sense? This is going to be an asset that's going to help you, in hard times. You never know. Something that's liquidatable, so we're going to make sure that you have one that you actually can use, that has value, and legally obtain it correctly. So we're showing you some different ways. And this week, what we're showing you is the foreclosure rate. So please bear with us. We're doing a sound check to make sure that everybody can hear us and see us. If you can't hear us and see us, please hit a 1 in the chat, okay? Hello. Okay, I think we're doing good. I just want to make sure that we hear and we're square. Hit the 1 in the chat. We see you guys there. We see you guys. Thank you for being here. Let me move over just a little bit. My screen went black. All right, so let's get to it now. Okay. Now, let's get to the key concept before we start clicking through this PowerPoint. Navigating the foreclosure jungle, the beginner's guide. So we're going to touch a little bit of that. We're going to touch concepts of understanding the foreclosure process. Knowledge is power. 3 concepts to know. Research is part 2, your due diligence. We're going to provide you with a short checklist, and funding your foreclosure investment, as what we talk about as we talked about in the last couple of weeks. What do you need to do to kind of secure your finances for this, and developing a bidding strategy. Okay, because we're talking about foreclosures here. So there's a few different ways that you guys can go about doing this. You can get an auction, or you can go a conventional way through a lawyer, a law firm, but you're still going to have to get your bidding strategies together so you can win, because there's a little tug of war here. In post-auction or foreclosure considerations when you're dealing with foreclosure process, and common pitfalls to avoid, okay? So let's just get to it right now. Thank you for being here. Navigating foreclosure jungle, a beginner's guide to, let me see if I can see on my page too, so I can talk to you guys straight in the camera, okay? All right, so why consider investing in foreclosure homes, okay? Understanding the foreclosure process, these are things that we're talking about here, kind of just running through that again. Understanding the strategies that we talk about, pre-investment process, step by step. These process consist of research, finding your foreclosure investment, finding opportunities, property value and research, financial preparation. We're gonna run through this because this is a sneak peek. We're actually having a seminar with full details of this particular, um, subject matter. So this is a sneak peek. Developing a bidding strategy, don't get caught up in the heart of the moment, and that's what we tell you as business owners. Don't get caught up in the heart of the moment. Don't spend your money on frivolous things. Plan for anything can happen, okay? Post-auction consideration, and that is, we're gonna review key risks, challenges, and common pitfalls, okay? And then we're gonna go into essential steps of success. Now, why we consider, we already know. Is equity in foreclosures, is a higher return on investment potential, compared to conventional investments, when you're doing it the lending way, and less competition, because you know why? Knowledge is power, and a lot of people don't want to do the due diligence, so they go the easy way, which the easy way end up being the way that you're gonna pay thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars on that death note. So we're trying to avoid that. That's why we do our due diligence now, and once we learn the key concepts we need, we just apply them state to state, state to state. So, again, we want instant equity, all right? Whatever you invest in, at least one of those avenues, you wanna have that's stable, and it builds equity, as well as how can I say, just like I said, stable in the market. For instance, if you do stocks, bonds, things like that, crypto, those things are really volatile. So they up and down in the market daily, hour, and a second. The real estate market, no matter what we have went through, it may have fluctuated, but as you see, it has what we did inflate. So some people were able to play this system a little bit and get some things out of it if you understood how to play the game. So buying low, below the market value means that you can have equity in the property. If you do a conventional property investment, you're probably investing $20,000, $30,000. Then that is usually the amount that's owed to the lender, that will close the deal so the lawyers will get paid. It's not usually a fair market value, if you are buying a foreclosure that's close to the fair market value, that's not a fair market value, that's not a foreclosure, that is possibly a sheriff's sale, and they do things a little bit different. It just depends on the name, So again, higher return and value potential, as we talk about, lower acquisition, $20,000 versus $240,000, $50,000 versus $320,000 home. So this is some of the benefits of why you want to invest in this as a business owner. Because even if you're investing in property foreclosures, let's say that property is condemned and you went there and that foreclosure is nothing in. I will hope that you don't do that, but you'll still have some type of land or something to be able to hold as an asset and possibly liquidate in the near future. So that's the reason why. That's our why. If you don't understand as a business owner, no matter what business you're in, it is good to have property and invest, how can I say, eclectively, creatively. Because the way the market is going now and the demands, a lot of us are locked out of the market. And that was our true value and objective of having economic development seminars, to show you how to get into this market, take back control, be a leader, be innovative, don't depend on the system. So that's where we at right here, guys. So understand the foreclosure process, knowledge is power. So understand the foreclosure process. Before you even think about bidding, it is crucial to understand the foreclosure process in your particular state. So this is a state-by-state thing, and this is why we have seminars that help you understand how to research state law. Because no matter what area of real estate you're in, you want to be able to understand law. Even if you're a real estate agent, if you're a broker, people who are new to that, that's the type of seminar that we host for you on Prime Time Home Buyer. So again, if you want to know information about that particular state, this varies significantly across the county. Counties can be different, yes. So then you have to understand federal law, state law, and county law. I know it sounds like a lot, but federal law don't change too much. County law doesn't change too much. You just got to get to know it. State law do fluctuate from time to time, depending on what happens and the disparities and the changes in the environment. So again, we want to remind you that there's a risk with foreclosure investment, just like there's any risk in any type of investment, any type of business. But what we want to do is mitigate that for you in these times. So you got to consider the pre-foreclosure, the auction, and the real estate owned. These are the three things that you want to focus in on. Knowledge is power. First concept is pre-foreclosure. What do I have to do? Due diligence, due diligence, due diligence, okay? This is where the homeowner has defaulted on their mortgage payment but has not yet lost the property. You can potentially work with the homeowner and negotiate directly with them, or potentially to help them to avoid bidder wars. And you know where you can do that? You don't even need to go to the homeowner. You can go right into the classifieds where they make announcement, and you can see these properties in the particular area that you're investing in that is up for foreclosure. They have to make the announcement. They'll say some for foreclosure, some for tax liens. Does that make sense? So that's how you'll get a heads up on these properties. Start communicating with the mortgage company if that's who's involved in this particular transaction. Lawyer, you will be talking to them. So you want to start a little early. Now, and that before you even do that and you call them, you want to do your due diligence. Due diligence starts with one, picking more than one or two properties in a particular area so you can kind of have some options. Two, stick to your budget. Three, start to do the history on the home. You want to do the history on the home in the area, okay? The area is, what's the commodities? How is the fair market value of the home going down? Crime, school, whatever you're looking for. Then you go into the other part of due diligence where you start to look into the home. You want to look into the birth of the home, which is the deed of the home. You want to kind of, this is all public information, and I know I'm saying a mouthful, but once you become an expert, someone who know how to apply these keys of research, it's nothing. You can apply this to tax liens, foreclosures, sales, sheriff sales. This is the most important part, the pre-buying. This say pre-foreclosure, but we're talking about pre-buying. And that's some of the things that we teach you in the seminars that we host on our website, Primetime Home Buyers. That is doing the title search. How do you do that? You don't want to pay for a title search for 4 properties you didn't invest in, but you want to have the skills to do it yourself. So we teach you that, and we call that the soft title search, where we're searching 80 years of this particular home property to see if the title was exchanged correctly, what type of deeds they have, whether they ever exchanged through a warranty deed or a quitclaim deed. If you see quitclaim deed, that may be like red light. That's the thing. That is the motherboard ship of red lights in our program. Quitclaim deed, just fall back. Wait a minute. Hey, because obviously, if it's not from family to family, wife to husband, you want to question it. But again, that's just the first part of it. I don't want to dig into that. There's a lot that go with the due diligence, but once you get it, you got it. So then you want to look into what are the avenues, and one of the avenues is an auction, okay? Let me go into that a little bit later, but auctions, properties are sold to the highest bidder. That's afterwards. Now you're in the thick of it. You want to go to an auction, offering with cash requires limited inspection. This is where due diligence is paramount. Well, that happened in part one, because right here, you can't really have the time to look at the property because you already at the auction, you got the list, but you didn't do your due diligence in the pre-foreclosure phase. And that's where I come in. I am the nurse of real estate, and I want to prevent you from getting sick in this phase. Does that make sense? So while you're here in this auction phase now, you already did your due diligence. You know the 5 properties you want. You know your budget. You know your limits. You're not going above that. You're not about to play no games. And if you don't get this property, you're okay. You're like, hey, as long as I stuck to it, I got the experience, everything is good. The next part we're going to be paying attention to, these are the 3 levels to this where you want to pay attention. So, real estate owned. These are the properties that failed to sell. Real estate owned. This is the properties that you have actually received. I do apologize. You received. Once you receive that property, you have to know how to secure it, know how to insure it, what you're going to do with it. Now you want to get a return on your value, on your investment. Am I going to let it sit? Which one is going to work for me? But that's actually in the pre-foreclosure investment phase, the pre-tax lien phase, the pre-deed. What do you mean? Because you already knew what you wanted to do because you set your budget, you already had your plan. This is what I want to do with these type of properties. I'm looking for this particular one. So it's kind of like a continuum that brings you right back to point A and point B. Okay? Now, understanding foreclosures. Hold on, next. Okay, pre-foreclosure, notice of default. So if you're in a foreclosure, this is something that you want to know about and people who are looking for it. So what is it? The period after the home has defaulted on their mortgage payment, but before the bank officially repossessed the property or foreclosure sale is scheduled. So this is the time the homeowner is negotiating, trying to get their money together. You know, that's not what I'm teaching here today, but I do teach that as well. But today, we're going to talk about how to find them, how to find these foreclosure lists, okay? And that is public record. The county recorder's office will have that. Online services specializing in distressed properties or through experienced real estate agents. You want to build connections too with the people who are around you and say, hey, I know a few real estate agents. And that's what I say, not only be online, be outside, especially to our multi-state investors. You want to have a realtor in that state, this state that knows, hey, this is the price value, this is what goes on here. You don't want to have someone online that don't know about and handling every single thing for you, and they don't know about that particular county. They don't know what is the commodities, how are the people, what they would accept. So always have boots down on the ground. That's to our multi-state investors. But then, okay, remember this, investment opportunities. This is often the best stage for investors. You can directly negotiate with the homeowner who might be in desperate to avoid the foreclosure, or you can negotiate with the lawyer before it's actually, the bids go out. Because when they're doing the foreclosure, will end up happening online when they do the public notice and nobody responds and pay that money that's due. They go and they own the house again and the bank sells it to maybe another investor that's going to spend closer to the fair market value or whatever. So they end up getting double and triple. Does that make sense? So this is some of the things I want you guys to pay attention to and know, okay? Especially as business owners, because whatever property we have, we want to know what we can do with it, what we can't do with it, what stages, that property is in, and how we can save as much money as possible as we're investing as well. Pre-foreclosure, we're still considering that. So let's get to the pro and cons. Pro and cons of pre-foreclosure, that is the ability to inspect the property. That's a pro, that's a pre-foreclosure. Hey, if you're talking to the family, you're talking to people in the house, they may let you see it. You never know. Hey, you offer them a little bit something. You kind of jump in there heavy, get them to sign over the title for you. Let's say that their foreclosure is $25,000 for the people who don't understand. If they owe $25,000 in mortgage payment and you offer them $35,000, $40,000, and they take that and sign it over to you and whatever, they promise with the promise or within that you take that leadership as an authorized representative of them to pay the mortgage off and to gain ownership. You never let the owner go do that step without you. And that's why you have to know contract law. Does that make sense? And that's why we teach that as well, okay? Yes, we're over here. We love to learn. This is a learning platform. I'm a teacher. That's what I'm here to do. We have a lot of subjects for you. Contract law is something you want to pay attention to, even if you have a lawyer sign that contract for you, okay? So I'm just giving you an example of how you could obtain the house just before it is up for auction, pre-foreclosure measures that you can move on. For the cons is homeowners might still find a way to save their home through loan modification, bankruptcy, requires sensitive negotiation skills. Does that make sense? This is the difference between a foreclosure investment and a deed investment. When there's a deed, you can't do none of this. This is all done. So the foreclosure is like the mother, how can I say the foundations of it going into it being a deed? No. How can I say? Because there's levels to this. I'll come back to you guys with that because we're on a time restriction here. We started a little bit late. But does that make sense? This is the con to a pre-foreclosure bid, okay? Now, foreclosure auctions, now when you're in auction already, there's no bankruptcy, they already cleared that out. The lawyers, like, nobody bid it on the amount. Now, let's do a foreclosure auction, we're gonna make some more money. See, you could have avoided paying an extra tax, you could have just tried to get there to pre-foreclosure, and you say, hey, can I negotiate with you? So you see what we teaching you here? We're teaching you a lot. Foreclosure auction, now this is the plot point of the foreclosure sale that, hey, I missed that, now I'm at level 2. We're gonna have to play a little bit of bidding wars. I'm gonna have to stick to my budget. Hopefully I did my due diligence, already looked at the property, because again, you cannot look at the property inside, or, you know, you can look outside, drive by, but do kind of like a better inspection, okay? Because it's different negotiation terms. And right here, this is basically no-go. So, what is it? If the homeowner cannot resolve the default during the pre-foreclosure stage, the property is put up for public auction, typically held at the courthouse steps or online. So that's the same place where you will find a tax lien sale. So you need to understand, sometimes there's 3 or 4 different auctions going on there, and you want to know where you need to be. How to find them? Again, you go to public notice, you go to the county assessor's office, where they'll tell you when these sales is going to happen online. It'll say the sheriff's sale, it'll say a foreclosure sale, whatever type of method that they do in the particular county. Or you can go on to bidforassets.com or publicauctions.com. Those places hold, there are, like, how can I say, there are platforms that host numerous routes of foreclosures from different places in the country. So does that make sense? So we're giving you where you can go find these foreclosures at, and start doing your research. Just remember, that foreclosures is an investment opportunity. Properties are often sold to the highest bidder. Sometimes force is significantly less than the market value though, but it will be to the highest bidder. So we're kind of teaching you what you can expect when it comes to your investment, how can I say, ceiling or minimum. This is much different than just a deed sale. Foreclosure is pretty much competitive, but with that goes to say you're going to be entering at a higher threshold of investment. So remember these. This is foreclosure auction, trustee sale, and sheriff sale / sheriff sale. It can be named either or, but just know the rules of the game. Whatever entity is selling it, most likely is the sheriff or either county, courthouse, whatever. They have a set of rules for that particular county. Outside of me, you know, our amazing seminars teaching you how to research law, they should have at least the basic county rules of what to expect. So some of the pros to investing in these sales is potential for a steep discount, quick closing, as cash payment is usually required immediately or within a few days. The cons to this is everything is buyer beware. That's why we say do your due diligence. I stress, do your due diligence, do your due diligence. Once you know how to do that, the buyer beware risk goes down to a significantly lower threshold. Usually if something's wrong, you'll know, you'll already make the decision if you're going to go with it or not, okay? You want to, some of the cons that goes under that is, the buyer beware too is inspection, so the property can be condemned. It's not only just other factors that we're going to talk about, but condemnment, the zoning issues, things like that. So buyer beware, it's sold as is. Outstanding liens can be on these properties as well. No, just because they foreclosed and sheriff sale doesn't mean liens can't be on there, and that's what we teach you how to do a soft title search yourself. Searching back 80 years of the birth of this property, at least if it's up to 80 years. We teach you how to look for that, because that information is available readily and open platform. But some people know how to find it, but the question is too, do you know how to read it for its efficientness, effectiveness, and how can I say validity? How do you say effectiveness? Because if it ain't good, if the deed is not good and it's something missing, it's not effective for you, because you're going to be able to effectively transfer it, okay? You're going to have to handle your business. Other cons is that you just need to have cash requirements. Sometimes they take cashier's check, certified funds, but sometimes they, have particular requirements, so you want to be able to do that, especially in this day and age. Because, you have cash limits on your bank, you want to talk to them about that, have that pre-set up, say I'm going to a tax lien sale, sheriff sale, whatever deed, I'm going to be taking $10,000 out. Keep that in mind, because you'll lose the risk of losing that property. redemption right. With foreclosure, in some states, the original homeowner might have the right to redeem after the sale, meaning that they can buy the property back within a specified time. That's why we tell you to know the law. That's between 6 to 12 months. It's a foreclosure. Same thing with a tax lien. After the time of us waiting to see if they're gonna pay for it, they don't, we foreclose. Sometimes they have 2 years too. So there are state laws that we teach you how to research so you can know, hey, but this doesn't happen a lot, because usually there's so much fees and so much red tape to go about doing this, that it doesn't seldomly happen, but you wanna know. Especially if the home has people who are, they are assessed, I do apologize, they are, beneficiaries to the property. Sometimes people didn't know they were beneficiary to a property, so that can be complicated, and that's some of the things we teach you to look for. Also, with foreclosure, sometimes there's still people living in the home. Sometimes there's squatters in the home. Things going on, so you want to pay attention to that. Be prepared. Hey, I got the foreclosure, but I'm going to have to do an eviction. State law don't allow me just to kick all these people out because they're up in here squatting. Keep that in mind. So you want to know the local and municipality laws and those type of things, so you can get prepared to do what you have to do, in which that should be included in your original budget, because we never tell you to spend everything that you have, okay? If you like what I'm sharing today, please hit the like button. Again, we are here sharing pertinent information related to foreclosure sales for business owners, ones who want to get in, kind of figure this out a little bit. This is what we're here sharing with you, okay? So REO, real estate owned, what is it? If the property doesn't sell at the foreclosure auction, the bank repossesses it and it becomes real estate owned. The bank then sells it in the open market. We just told you, if you don't buy it, they're gonna go and capitalize off of it. So we're trying to teach you how to capitalize before they try to sell this dream property to you with the home mortgage to it now. Because you can't basically afford it at fair market value. So, how to find them? Again, if you want to look for them, you're going to look at real estate agencies often. That's where you're going to go look for your regular properties, bank website, majority real estate listings, Zillow, realtor. At this point, you're back in the debt game. And that's pretty much what we have to highlight when it comes to that. It's like, we're trying to avoid that, okay? So remember that this is also an investment opportunity. Banks are motivated to sell the real estate they own, so sometimes they'll work with you. But because the market is so inflated, you're going to have a good amount of money to solidify some deals these days in this particular way, okay? So, again, we already know there's some pros and some cons to that. The pros is that you don't have to do a lot of work. It's the standard process. You can typically inspect the property, conduct an appraisal, get a title insurance, no issues. When you go into tax liens, deeds, and foreclosure sales, you want to look to state law to see what is the actual requirement to get title insurance. And just understand, title insurance is only an instrument that's used to obtain loans. That's it. You can have a home and own it without title insurance. But you have to have home insurance, some insurance, just in case something happened, which is much different than title insurance. So the pros to that is that it's a clear title. The bank already did the title search, paid, got it done. Finance opportunity, they did their due diligence. They did the title search. Finance opportunities did, you don't have to pay it all outright. You pay your monthly payments and you do what you have to do. Does that make sense? So the cons to buying it, real estate just, through the regular market is way less than the discount. It's still an as-is sale after you inspect it and you sign off in that contract. It can be a slow process, definitely if you're using credit and they have to do background and all of that stuff. Conditions, property may have been vacated for some time. It could be in poor conditions due to neglect. But, you should have an idea about that. That should be all in your contract. Your agent should let you know what's going on. And with that goes to say, you'll be able to initiate, contract agreements to fix some of the damages that was done by the previous owner, but you won't be able to do that in a typical foreclosure sale. So let's get into the step-by-step method. What time we're at? We at 2:45. We have 15 more minutes. We're trying to run through this right quick because we were a little bit late. So if you guys think that I'm talking too fast, the information, you know, it's kind of flying by you, just slow it down and put it on replay, okay? But for right now we're gonna teach you a little bit about the research you're doing, your due diligence. Very important. Find your foreclosure investment before you even invest. Find at least 4 or 5 properties, 4 options for you before you invest. You wanna look at the property value and research it. And the property's birth history. Research it is very important because these are the things that's gonna save you from having issues and spending more money later on or being, you know, having a dud. Does that make sense? Financial preparation, that's some of the things that we talked about in our previous seminar. You're already ready. You save, you budget, you know your priorities, your needs versus your wants, so you're gonna focus on the needs of this particular investment. Do I have to get the garage fixed? Okay, it's gonna increase the value. Which one? Do I want to get the garage fixed or do I need to get the roof fixed? I think the roof is better because that is one thing that can cause more damage on the home, needs versus wants. This is priority, changing our mindset. That is what all of these seminars are put together to do, okay? We have to change our mindset of our community, economic development seminars for our community. Know that we're hosting this in Atlanta every Wednesday at 2 p.m. live. You can come down here to the Adams Street Library. You are welcome. Until then, you can catch us online as well. Please hit the like button if you like what I'm sharing and the information that I'm providing. Because what we do here is our due diligence in teaching you so you can have these actionable tools. Okay? So, find an opportunity. Research. We're going to stress more to you than education and due diligence. Understanding your market. Research tools, real estate trends, average sales, the prices, rent rates, neighborhood disparities, issues. All of that is in your prerequisite phase, pre-investment phase, because it's going to tell you what you can do, can't do with the property, as well as what you can do, can't do with your money. Does that make sense? You want to understand the legal landscape, familiarize yourself with the state specified laws for foreclosure, for the foreclosure process, what to expect, the redemption time, and the lien on the property, how to handle those liens. Now, with a foreclosure property, the liens are much different. If it's in the tax lien investment phase, not the foreclosure, the tax lien investment phase, those liens can be wiped off because you're at a different stage of the game, okay? It's a whole nother game. But here, when there's liens here, you may want to look at state laws to see if you're required to pay any of the outstanding liens related to the transferability of this property, because it may be different when it comes to foreclosure. I can definitively tell you as a tax lien investor that we are first in line under the IRS. So we can get mostly all of the liens off of properties by way of communication and notice. I.e., what did they say? Oh, they just the words. What did they, it's at the tip of my tongue. The homeowners association, that's the other red light that we hate. I'm sorry, I don't need to use the word hate, but we don't deal with an investment here. We tell you avoid. Those are hard to get off. They fight you. They lie, they try anything to make you pay it. If you don't got a good way that ain't lazy, we're probably going to get you in there. So remember, in this process, you want to build a team, connect with knowledgeable real estate agents specializing in foreclosures, specializing in the area that you're in, the type of property, commercial property, a reputable title company, someone you can talk to. Sometimes they have, you do deals with title company. You do 2 and 3 title search every couple of months. They give you a deal, you never know. But you want to start building those friendships, those relationships you need to be successful. Does that make sense? All right. So, as we go on, talking about doing your due diligence. Research. Location. Just like any real estate investment, location is critical. You want to make sure that this investment is good for your business. This is what your investment is for, or accessible to you. You may not want to use the property for your business, but at least this asset that you have, you can go travel to it, go check on it, have somebody manage it for you. And things hit the fan, you can liquidate it. Let's bring it on back to the beginning. That's what we're here for. Having some assets that we can liquidate, that we just don't need to spend a whole a bucket of water in the bathtub to get it, okay? You wanna also consider the factors like the school district, crime rates, all of that, that's at the beginning. Locate the regulations, okay? If you have a particular business that you wanted to use, like maybe you sell alcoholic beverage and you wanna open a storefront, maybe you wanna look for properties in the zoning that accept those type of businesses, if they have restrictions in the area. Those things you wanna pay attention to, so we teach you about zoning regulations. That is something that we teach you for free. We have like 3, 4, 5, 6 videos on our sister channel, which is Primetime Home Buyers. It's also known as Lady Lashley Real Estate Legal Consultant. Come along, but it's right. We'll put it under there, or you can look at our information page here. You should connect to our sister channel. We do have videos highlighting how to research zoning regulation, building codes, ordinance, and maybe how ways to kind of contest them, especially when you're having land issues and things like that. So we kind of went into that as well, okay? Now, moving on. If you like what we sharing with you, say thank you, and hit the like button. It's free. It's free. Or you can come down here with us down to the Adams Street Library. So, finding foreclosure opportunities. Let me see. We almost getting down to the end. And what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna start to in this live soon. These are gonna be the last few talking points, because this actual seminar we do monthly. So we have more to share with this information for you. So we don't wanna share everything with you guys. But that free monthly seminar is free as well, and we host it down here at the Adams Street Library. So if you're interested, the alternative foreclosure investment seminar, will be having it on Thursday the 30th, the day before Halloween, here at the Adams Street Library. So we're gonna close off by just telling you where to find foreclosure properties. And that is online websites like Realty Track, Zillow Foreclosures, auction.com. I hope you guys are writing this down. They list various types of distressed properties. Go there and look, okay? Also, did I say auction.com? Bid for assets. That's the one I love, okay? You can go there and buy anything and everything, okay? Public records. Visit your county courthouse or recorder's office to access notice of defaults. You can go look, you're like, okay, default notice coming up. Let me start doing my due diligence. How much money I may need to get this, this property. Always saying $13,000 in back mortgage due. Okay, I need to save $15,000 to get myself a negotiable. Let's see how we do this. Local real estate agency, like I said, make connections. That's an asset. You remember what we said in season 1, session 1? The assets are the relationship you build, the friendships you build, those connections, okay? You can get a realtor, you give them $50 a month, just to be on your books, and they'll be able to do some things for you, okay? And then as you expand the expertise, they'll, have whatever consulting fees y'all can negotiate. So local real estate agent, experienced agents, office have access to distressed property lists before they hit the open market. Have a friend, tell a friend. So also, one of the places you can look is direct marketing for pre-foreclosure. Consider sending letters to homeowners who have received the default notice. Don't just send it to everybody, okay? Don't be them telemarketers driving people crazy. We will not allow you to do that, okay? But if you already see them that they're on a public record list, that's when you move on to phase 2, okay? That's phase 3, because the first phase 2 is getting your money right, making sure everything is good, okay? So, with that being said, what I want to do is, hold on one second, we're going to get to, I'm trying to get to, before when I press that, there we go. We're going to get to our last PowerPoint, y'all. Give me a second. You gonna let me? Nope. You're gonna click through. Guys, bear with me. I just closing, okay. Let's get to our last PowerPoint. Y'all can't see the PowerPoint anyway, so I might as well just read it to you guys, okay? Let's get to it. Bottom line. What is the bottom line? You want to avoid pitfalls. You want to avoid emotional bidding, ignoring hidden costs, overestimating the value and underestimating your budget, or overestimating your budget, let me correct that, and neglecting to do your due diligence. These are the common pitfalls, okay? And these are the common pitfalls that you even encounter in your business. Emotional buy-in, emotional moves. We don't need that. Ignore hidden costs, hidden fees. You want to look for that in your business, banking, platforms you use. You don't want to use those. Same concept. Overestimating the value of your business. Oh, my product worth $10,000, $50. Let me just be honest, $50. And it's actually worth 20. And then you put $5 in it, and then you expect people to buy it, and it's cheap as plastic. We gotta be for real, we gotta give value for value as well and help correct the market. Lastly, neglecting to do your due diligence, that's the most important thing that I have stressed here is due diligence. So investment foreclosure process can be a lucrative endeavor for business owners, local investors, or just the common family member. But it requires careful planning, thorough research, and disciplined approach. By understanding the foreclosure process, conducting a comprehensive due diligence steps and plan, you can secure foreclosure process by understanding the bidding strategies, avoiding these common pitfalls, and increasing your chance to successfully acquire an asset that its value and equity doesn't fluctuate as fast as the market. Remember to start slow, learn from your experience, and always prioritize safety over potential wasteful gains. And that's what we want to share with you today, guys. And we don't want to just share something with you. We don't want you just to buy anything. I want you to be safe. Okay, so I'll close off by saying this. As a legal nursing consultant or real estate consultant, I want to say thank you so much for being here with me. But my main goal is preventing you to go to lawyers, common pitfalls, being sick in your finances, and not being able to function properly in business, in our economy, and in real estate. So with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for being with us. Please hit the like button. We're here every Wednesday at the Adams Street Library in Atlanta. Thank you so much.